Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again, if you haven't yet subscribed, it'd be amazing to have you on board and to keep building this community out. We've got a Discord server, we do giveaways, we want to get you involved in as many meetups and projects, really try and turn this into a thriving community of some of the most passionate Philadelphia sports fans out there, but we need your help to do it. So if you enjoy this content, hit the big red button. If you don't, then I won't hold it against you, but I might cry. Now, normally our Monday videos are light-hearted, they're funny. We try and bring some humour into a Monday evening, but unfortunately yesterday was a very somber day for the world, and it would be rude not to touch on it. So just from myself and everyone at Philly Sports Network, sending our deepest condolences to Vanessa Bryant, the entire Bryant family, everyone that was close to both Kobe and Gigi, and anyone really that is grieving this loss, because I think it's difficult for any sports fan to really fathom that someone that has transcended the sport of basketball is no longer with us and was taken away so suddenly in a way that no one should have to go. To leave behind a family and a family life that he adored, it was horrible. It was so devastating and deeply upsetting. I was lucky enough to actually talk to Kobe Bryant on a conference call last year, and it was something that genuinely captivated me. Like, the man inspired me in so many ways, just through his work ethic and his relentless mentality to just dominate the day in front of him and be up at stupid o'clock in the morning, working through stupid late while all his other teammates would disappear. And it doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, whether you're a Lakers fan, a Sixers fan, or don't even know the sport of basketball that well, everyone knows Kobe. That man has left behind a legacy that will go on forever. And while I know we're all grieving, we're all upset, and it does feel like there is just this empty void now, remembering just how much he changed the game of basketball and how much of a generation he inspired to pick up a basketball and to start playing. And I just wanted to take the time to remember some of his finest moments and just celebrate the life and the legacy he left behind, because that man will never be forgotten. And as someone that represented the city of Philadelphia so strongly, that was elated when they won the Super Bowl, I think the whole city of Philadelphia is mourning just as heavily right now. We're all going to miss you more than words can say, Kobe, and I think we're all so devastated that we could never see what could have been such a tremendous career that Gigi had ahead of her. I think everyone from LA to Philadelphia, all the way over to the UK, where I and millions of other basketball fans would wait up until silly o'clock just to watch that man dribble a ball, are never going to let those legacies die. So just from myself and everyone, rest in peace to Kobe and Gigi Bryant. And I hope that as a community we can all rally together, like check in on your friends, check in on your family. Like, something like this really does kind of open up the bigger picture, and it makes you want to reach out to someone and tell them that you miss them, or hug your loved ones a little bit tighter. So if anyone needs to talk, my DMs are always open. We've got the Discord server where I know a lot of the guys have been really, really supportive of one another. But just know that you've got a community here that support you, and hopefully we can pull each other through this. We're going to kick things off though with the Philadelphia Eagles in what has been a busy week, but we knew this offseason was going to be hectic. We knew it was going to be important from a player perspective. We knew there was going to be a lot of turnover, the start of the youth infusion, which really did take centre stage during that 29 season, set to blossom in the off-season that followed, with a flurry of compensatory draft picks. This is set to be an off-season like no other, but right in front of them, the Eagles have some more immediate concerns. They filled one vacancy in getting Markin Manuel, the former Atlanta Falcons defensive backs coach, someone that has worked very closely with the Seattle Seahawks, take over from where Corey Undlin left off, but they've still got 4 roles now. Yes, 4, because Andrew Berry, the team's former vice president of football operations, has indeed rejoined the Cleveland Browns, a team which he spent 3 years working with under Shashi Brown, helping to draft players like Baker Mayfield, Denzel Ward, Nick Chubb, and turn a 0-win team into a potential sleeping giant. It wasn't actually a sleeping giant, they kind of fell off a bit, didn't they? But we'll ignore that for now. We'll ignore that. Either way, this is a huge hole to fill. It's a move that has been anticipated for a few weeks now, that Andrew Berry was originally going to look at Carolina. The Eagles blocked the interview, but because this is a promotion, they were unable to do so, and Berry, at age 32, becomes the youngest general manager in the NFL. Taking that honour away from Howie Roseman. Now, we don't know how much impact he actually had in Philadelphia, because he was only there for 1 year and he replaced Joe Douglas, who went to the Jets. But what we can say is that it is a role that needs filling. We have some potential candidates. Andy Weidel, who came in with Joe Douglas originally and oversees the scouting department, could well see a bump. Let's not forget Connor Barwin has signed as the Dwight Schrute to Howie Roseman's Michael Scott character, and there are of course some names within that front office structure like Tom Donahue or Mr. Patch, who could be looking for some promotions. But the Eagles Eagles may also want to look elsewhere and get some outside influence again, because we know the impact Joe Douglas had in totally resetting the way that the Eagles viewed the draft board. He was from the Ozzie Newsome School of Scouting. He came in and totally revamped how the Eagles grade talent, and I don't think that's going to change. They will want to keep moving forward. So all of a sudden, pressing need to nail free agency, to make sure you bring the right players back, to examine the trade market, and of course the NFL draft has now been placed on the back burner because you need a new vice president of football operations. You still need to replace Philip Daniels, and then they still need a new offensive coordinator and a new wide receivers coach. Now, a couple of weeks ago I stated how the Eagles need to really look at the role of offensive coordinator and the possibilities within that job. Like, if play calling isn't a thing, it could be a reason why a lot of aspiring head coaches are turned off, especially if a vacancy opens elsewhere where that is a possibility. Peterson got to call plays under Andy Reid, and he's not allowing a coordinator to do that, even if it is just in the second half or to a lesser extent. I think there has to be some control given up there. Or if not, just finding someone that can have a greater impact, maybe to coordinate the pass game or give Juice Staley a slightly bigger responsibility. But to find stability across the board at these positions is absolutely massive. Take Andrew Berry's role, for example. With Joe Douglas gone, his work was almost unfinished. You then bring in Berry, who's probably got a million ideas of his own. Some of those would have been implemented, and now he's gone. And what you're going to have are all these different voices, all these different ideas and methods of grading players and setting a draft board that could get confusing, and you could end up with a bit of a muddle in the front office, and it's not pretty. At wide receiver coach, the Eagles have had a different coach every year since 2016. From Greg Lewis to Mike Groh to Gunter Brewer to Carson Walsh, it has been absolutely dreadful, and it's easy to see why players like Mac Hollins, Shelton Gibson, Nelson Aguilar aren't developing, because they can't get a rapport with that coach, knowing that in a year's time, another guy's going to come in and want to try and get them to do different things. Along the defensive line, we could be now in for a similar story, although I really hope they don't go the way I think they're going, because it'd be even worse. To get everything player related for the minute, okay, the Eagles really need to find stability this year. I mean, Markin Manuel is a fantastic hire. Someone that is renowned for having a fiery personality, that gets in the face of the DBs, that encourages that aggression. And when you look at the names they have, guys like DeMonte Kazee, I mentioned in the video we posted earlier this week, Isaiah Oliver was a draft crush of mine and has come out and done well. And then you've got Keanu Neal at safety. This is someone that can develop young defensive back talent, has proven he can do it. It's a great hire, but you've got to keep him around there. And with offensive coordinator, the most important relationship on a football team is offensive coordinator to quarterback. Unless it's the Eagles and they don't call plays, in which case it probably isn't. Maybe it's number 3. Finding stability there without constantly having a revolving door, again, is absolutely huge. And I think that before we think mock drafts and free agents, the Eagles have got to solidify this. And it's worrying that names like Kevin O'Connell, the Harrell out of USC, and several other really viable candidates haven't taken the bait the Eagles are laying out. Like, they've got to work out what's going on. It's all very well building a flashy mansion. It's all very well buying a new house and flashing it out with a new kitchen and a new television and all these new funky things like a lovely new bed, but if it's built on rocky foundations, it is still going to be just as vulnerable to a hurricane, and I hope the Eagles get through that. The Senior Bowl took place this weekend, in which the Eagles were able to take a closer look at some of the most impressive seniors heading into the NFL draft. Denzel Mims was the standout. I know Antonio Gandy Golden touchdown catch of his own, and there were overall some really impressive names. Cornerback Troy Pride Jr. really enhanced his draft stock, and of course a lot of the defensive linemen as well, like Bradley Anand had himself a whale of a time. Of course, we had a live stream for it, so if you tuned into that live stream, thank you so much for spending your Saturday with me. I accidentally started an hour early. I thought it was 1:30 kickoff, turns out it was 2:30. So we were there for about 5 hours in total, and you were absolutely amazing. You're MVPs, every single one of you. We're going to have plenty more live streams in the future, so make sure you stick around for those. On to the Philadelphia Flyers. They are 6th in the Metropolitan Division at the minute as we get in towards the All-Star break. And after their first 50 games, 2 things are clear. They play divisional rivals well, and they've got really good home form, and that is massively important. They've got 14 games remaining against Metro teams. 9-5-3 against teams in the top top 10, and with names like Shane Gostisbehere and Carter Hart close to returning from injury, we're really going to see how much this youth-infused team is going to be able to pull off. Like, how far can this team go under the guidance of Alan Vigneault, who in his first year as head coach has historically done really well in getting teams into the big dance. So fingers crossed the Flyers can keep rolling, can keep surging momentum. And on another note, Harry Maguire was an all-star, and the jersey looked alright, but he was an all-star, and that's all that matters. So big up Travis Konechny on a tremendous campaign so far. Hopefully he can continue that red-hot run of form going in towards the second half of the season. The Philadelphia 76ers beat the Los Angeles Lakers without Joel Embiid in what may have been their most impressive game of the season. It was a game where Ben Simmons, against his mentor, against someone that has tried to help mold his game over the last few years in LeBron James, broke out and said, I'm here, this is my team, I can be the cornerstone. Forget the fact he can't shoot threes. If I've got a Chevrolet Silverado, see, I'm big on American cars now, I'm not expecting it to go flying around the Nürburgring setting record lap times. I know what I'm getting in that Chevy, and that's Ben Simmons. And he has really taken over this team since Embiid went down. Like, if you just look at his numbers since before Embiid went down and afterwards, just look at the incline. Around 8 points more per game, close to 10 rebounds per game. The man has become an absolute monster, and I know that there's a lot of criticism around Ben Simmons. There are some bizarre trade rumours out there, which frankly, we won't touch on because they are a bit silly. It's just been phenomenal. There's no other word for it. He's played in 97% of... I was going to say snaps then, and I realised, no, I meant games. Since that rookie injury, and he's just become as durable and as dominant as any of the stars in the NBA today. If he can keep this level of form up when Embiid comes back, then there's no telling just how far this Sixers team can go. We've really seen a new evolution to Ben Simmons. That dominance, that aggression, that assertiveness that we're seeing used to only be seen in flurries, on the occasional dunk when there's no one around him, or trying to posterize someone. It was very rare. It was few and far between that we'd really see Ben Simmons go out of his way and ruin people. But we're seeing it on a nightly basis right now, and I'm here for it. To the Philadelphia Phillies, and 3 of their prospects were named inside the top 100, including Alec Bohm and Spencer Howard, who were 28th and 27th respectively, while their first round draft pick from 2019, Bryant, ranked at 89. Not bad. Meanwhile, pitchers Bud Norris, Drew Storen and Francisco Liriano will all be part of spring training as late signings who can hopefully bolster out that bullpen. Try and add to their storied big league careers, but only one of them saw senior snaps. I've got to stop saying snaps. Saw senior action last year, and that was Liriano, so hopefully that will change in 2020. Philadelphia Union have pivoted away from Bimbo, and I mean the bakery, and I still don't know why they're called Bimbo, but here we are. Anyway, they're not having Bimbo on their secondary kit anymore. They're having Artesano, which is still part of Bimbo, but it doesn't sound as bad. Artesano is the away kit sponsor, which does look very nice, I have to say. Pre-season opens on the 29th, and if we can find a stream, we will be doing a live watch-along. So if you haven't been intrigued about soccer, if you want to come and find out about a new sport, or just chill out with the PSN boys, then we'll be doing a live watch-along for that stream, 11 AM on the 29th. So 2 days time. Centre-back and academy graduate Mark McKenzie received a new long-term contract that will keep him with the team through 2022. He's certainly one of the team's brightest stars, so keeping around is kind of a big deal. And no guys, that is the end of another video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to watch this. From myself, Liam Jenkins, you can follow me on Twitter at Liam Jenkins PSN. I'll see you soon.